Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 335, and today we're doing battle with Jack Jarvan. And so Jack, one of the new champions out of the Glory from Navoria champion, I've been trying to do quite a bit of work to actually make work and haven't had too much success along the way. I'd really been trying to tie Jack into using the card Prize Fight. That's the one to where you get a strike onto another unit, they strike you back, no one can be reduced below 1 health. And so it's a way to kind of tie in with Brash. And then if you can come up with some clever ways to clear out the opposing 1 health units, then you're getting yourself a pretty decent value for the price. And so I was trying to say tie Jack in with Misfortune so you can put the Misfortune attack on the stack, you do the strike, your opponent has 1 health, and Misfortune just cleans it up. I was looking to tie it in with Udyr. Udyr, another card that really cares about hitting strikes, but then he also has the Ram stance to deliver the AoEs, and then also looking potentially towards P and Z and Caitlyn. So Caitlyn generating flashbangs. If you leave your opponent's units with 1 health, you can clean them up with the flashbang traps, and then Caitlyn also has the strike ability tied into her. And so, there's a lot of synergies there I was really looking to kind of tie into and make work, and I just wasn't really happy with any of it. None of it really struck me as being that good. Prize Fight was kind of meh if you didn't have all of the themes like up and running, and it just never really felt that strong. And so what we saw here recently over the past couple days is on the old Twitter. The Twitter user Lucy Dices, she was talking about using Jack in more of a Brash focus deck. And so that's, not something I really put to mind. I thought Brash was just kind of a nice ability to have on the back line, but it wasn't something to really build around. And so the thing they were proposing was to say, put the card Barknuckles over onto, what's your name down here? The big boy, the blocking Badger Bear, so you have a 5/5 Brash. The next turn you play Jack, and then the following turn you play Angel. Angel is the 6/5 Brash unit for 5, and so if you're not really playing a lot of meaty units, then you probably can't block any of that. And you find yourself in this spot to where your units suck too much to attack into our strength, and then your units can't block on the way back because they're all too small. And so a lot of high-powered plays that you could really pull off there, but if we're going to be real, I can't bring myself to play a 5-mana do-nothing unit like Angel. But it does have a lot of the ideas tied in that I was thinking about with Jack. A lot of the strike abilities are still here, and I really like this idea of playing the full copies of both Single Combat and Fish Fight. These are cards that are tied in a little bit to our strike abilities with the Barknuckles and with the Jack the Winner, and then they also play quite nicely in this meta to where there's so many small units like Samira running around. And so I have taken some changes to their deck. The things that I'm looking to add into this from that thought perspective is I think Grumble Slug is actually quite fantastic in this format and in this meta. Everything in this meta is so tied into killing a Samira that having this additional point of health is exceptionally good. It also gives us these spots to where we can play absolutely nothing on the first turn. On turn 2, we play Grumble Slug, and then as we roll into turn 3, we'll still have the 2 mana left to play our Badger Bear, and then also follow up with either an equipment or follow up with a removal spell. And so it ties very nicely into the curve that way. Otherwise, the other addition that I'm looking to bring in here is the Champion Strength. I feel like this is a format to where you really, really, really need to be hitting on those rallies. The archetypes that are really running around right now is you have the really fast stuff like the Fizz deck to where you need to be able to get down early and get in there dirty. But if you ignore that 20% of the meta and look at the remaining 80%, we fall back into that classic space of Runeterra to where you have to be able to overwhelm, elusive, or rally. And so we have a handful of ways to hit the rallies in here. We've got the 2 copies of Champion Strength, and then we also have Daddy Jarvan out here ready to drop down the scouts if our Jarvan is on board. So, pretty nice stuff. A good-looking board control deck. A lot of removals. Some good Demacia stuff in here. Lots of stuff that I really approve of. Maybe we'll get the sweet Barknuckles down onto Night Ranger Defector combo. We'll just have to see. And so before we dive in, I guess the things that we have to say is how do you actually pronounce this card, right? Now, looking at the image, it is clearly what looks to be like little tree things in the guy's knuckle space, and so it should be like Bark-Knuckles, right? But there's only one K in here, and so I'm just going by the way I see it, man. This card's Barknuckles from now on, and those knuckles should be serving up a beer and not serving up a fucking tree. And so got all kinds of tie-ins to the tree. The tree That kind of reminds you of Groot, right? Groot reminds you of Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel reminds you of The Fast and the Furious. That movie is all about family. We're playing the whole family today with Jarvan and his dad. God, it all ties together so well. So well. I don't know how you all get so far in life without putting together these sweet combos that I'm able to do here. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. But you know what we're doing. Before the games begin, we have to go and pay the pay to win price, and I'm going to drop it on the old Barknuckles here. You know, really give some bonus power to our family, pay to win just a little bit, make that equipment just a little bit stronger. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So, ooh, man, Vin Diesel, I'm excited. The Fast and the Furious 10 Part 1 comes out later this year. I have the lowest of expectations, but the highest of hopes for it. I love the franchise so much. It's just if you're ready to get into a movie that has about 15 minutes of plot and then 2 hours or so of cool stuff. That's what you typically get out of the Fast and the Furious franchise. But I'm a little worried about it at the moment. They've had some directorial disputes, and it sounds like everybody's tired of working with Vin Diesel. It's kind of a sad day in that sense, but hopefully they all come together, make a fantastic movie that we all want, love, and deserve. All right, but up to battle against Karma Set. Let's see if we can take them down before they get to turn 10 and completely overwhelm us, and we'll hopefully be able to start to get our aggros in. But not a bad start here. We got the bird into the Attune. The Attune is going to allow us to put the Barknuckles down onto the bird, really keep up the mana spend here. Really like it. Lots of free manas coming at us between the Attunes and soon to be the coins and the like. Very nice. What up, Reggie? But as we were talking about this deck earlier, you can see very much where that Brash curve we were talking about can be quite good against this stuff, right? Opponent not going to play any units. They don't have any units in their deck that are big enough to block a Brash unit. And so as we're making this attack and probably dealing 0 damage, if we were coming in with the Brash units, we would have that opportunity to just attack right through these dum-dums and not even have to worry about it. But we'll see what we can pull off here. If we have the 2 copies of Jack in hand, Jack flips into the Risky Venture. A nice, fairly cheap removal spell that should kill pretty much everything in the opposing deck. And so maybe we'll get a little bit of values out of it in one of these upcoming turns, since we're kind of stuck with it at the moment. Opponent bringing out these big boys. Look at this smooth mixologist ready to get into a good combat. Not nice, dude. See if we can get this guy up to 4 power. Hit it with the Pot of Pain. Also looking to add in Grumble Slug, and then probably gone a single combat. We'll just have to see how this plays out. Set coming in makes it a little bit awkward. I would like to get the set off of the board, but it's a little awkward at the moment. And so I'm just going to add in the Grumble Slug. We're still going to attack with everyone in this combat, but can we even attack with everyone? It's not as good as I want it to be. Hang on, I gotta stop and assess. Things things didn't go quite how we want. I was thinking we could hook in the fans here with the Broadwing, still attack with Jack, but it's this mixologist that causes the problem now. What if we just say hook set with the Broadwing, and then still bring in our attack with at least the other 2 units? We can still maybe put the Fix 'em Up onto the Grumble Slug. I think I'm okay with this. So we still get good attacks here. We just lose out on our bird.
I hate traffic. Watch your toes. I hate traffic.
All right. Nice little 8-piece nugget coming in. We can double up on the Brash for next turn if we want to kind of flip our thoughts here and say, well, what if we say single combat down the mixologist? That gives us the opportunity to it does give us the opportunity to just make brash attacks through here. So we'll see. Did we fuck this up? Why does he still get... Oh, while attacking. Oh, that's stupid. I messed this one up. Well, I guess it turns out the same either way. I would prefer to have just had our unit on the board, but kind of is what it is at this point. Still in a reasonable attack with Jack here if we want. I think we need to try and kill the dude. Been a little bit sloppy with this one. I was expecting to have more units on the board and kind of messed up how that went. And a Caustic Riff. Painful stuff, man. Okay. What do we got? 6 coins? Trying to see if we're in this space to where we can play Jarvan next turn, and then draw the youngster, right? And then have the mana to still coin him onto the board. We can do that.
With me, Knights of Demacia.
All right. See how that goes. So we've got board here. That's not bad. Our Jarvan's going to flip. Opponent can't do a bunch of nasty karma stuff next turn, and then we have the opportunities to protect a little bit against what they do with the incoming Cataclysm and the single combat in hand. So we might be okay here. Ooh, Champion Strength. Always tempting. It's it's a little scary to be like counting on Champion Strength against Ionia, but we may find ourselves in a spot to where we can just open attack next turn, and if we get to open attack into a board where we have a lethal, we can just follow up with the rally piece of Champion Strength. I mean, you might want to just go about it that way anyways. Alright, see where that one gets us. Get the dum-dum off of the board. Are we willing to lead with the Champion Strength? I mean, I might as well just open, I think. I don't think having the additional stats is going to be that relevant. We can start to say single combat some of these dum-dums off of the board. Maybe that's the way we want to go about this, right? Say we single combat the Forge Worker. It's going to put another coin into our hand, and then next turn we can open. You can't block Jarvan, and then we can try and Champion Strength our way in with a second Jarvan attack. Finish the game off that way. Would we rather just Champion Strength at that point, though? That gets our Jarvan up to 12. I don't know. This strikes me as one of these spots to where, if opponent has to invest a bunch of mana into this turn, then they probably can't do enough to kill us on the next turn. It feels like we're a little off with this. Let's see what he's going to do. He draws 2, plays the coin, refills 5 up to 8 mana. Draws more cards. That has to be good for us, right? Has to be good. We're even in this spot to where if he just follows up with a unit, we can coin single combat and then single combat away whatever that blocker is. I think we're fine. He's not going to have this answer to Champion Strength, but if he does follow up with a unit, we can take it down and do some nasties. I guess the card to worry about now would just be like a stun. A stun would be awkward and problematic. I probably should have thought about that one before we played the Champion Strength. The stun is tough. Oh boy. It has a -2 cost one. Okay. That's a problem. That's a problem. We can kill one of these dudes, but we're going to be short on the damage now. The Concussive Palm was just like the actual worst thing we could have happen.
Stand with your king.
Right, if he didn't have the unit, we could single combat and then try to still punch in more damage. I don't think I missed something here. We only got 2 mana off of the coin. Painful. Alright. Hopefully we got enough mana spend out of them so that they can't cruise through us here. He's only got 2 mana into the coin now. He did have to spend a fuckload of mana on the previous turn to try and fight through what we were doing. So we got a little bit of a safety net in that sense. There we go. That's where the magic happens. We pick up the scout. Now we can cataclysm the scout unit and look to get a secondary attack on the turn. That's one of the interesting things with this list as to where, it's a deck where we're playing Night Ranger Defector and we're playing a handful of ways to pick up scout equipments. That having that access to Cataclysm is quite strong. It's the same idea as having tumbles with Vayne and then tumbling off a unit to get the attack token back on your opponent's turn. But Jarvan doing the work when we need it. I appreciate it, my friend. Very nice of you, very kind. Bring it in the family, yo. Recently, I don't know if convinced is the right word. I convinced the wife that we should watch through the Fast and the Furious series before Fast 10 comes out. This is something that we haven't done since the lockdown portion of the pandemic hit, as to where we're trying to find something to do, and so why not watch 10 Fast and the Furious movies? I think Tokyo Drift doesn't really count in the middle, right? So you have you have Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. Then Tokyo Drift comes out. Tokyo Drift is kind of like a prequel, and then you have Fast and the Furious, and then it's Fast 4, Fast 5, Fast 6 the rest of the way. And so there's that little bit of time in there where they don't count Tokyo Drift as being a real one. Starring Han who dies and then comes back later. Spoiler alert. Same thing with Michelle Rodriguez, right? She wasn't dead, she was just in a coma. She got shot in the head and she was in a coma. Nobody told anybody. It's like watching a fucking soap opera, man. Alright, but what can we do here? I'm leaning towards the upcycled Rake. Opponent does have a ton of mana for this upcoming turn, but our units are reasonably well protected here. Right? If he drops Caustic Riff or something, this isn't a fantastic board to be doing it on, and so I think we're safe to pick up the scout equipment. And then if he wants to come in with actual removal spells here, we can maybe form up through it. Alright, still trying to get this dum-dum off the board. I don't think it's worthy of a form up. Like, if we have to, I would prefer to save the form up for a incoming removal spell, right? So if you're thinking to yourself with that initial attack with the Piltover Castaway, the thing I'm starting to think there is, if opponent wants to Caustic Riff through our units, and then he plays the Caustic Riff in the middle of combat, we form up, that gives us that chance to hit for a ton of damage. You know, a little bit of surprise work coming through. Not as super ideal here, but we can still just move the Rake. We probably put it on the wrong one, but he's going to be open attacking. All right, we'll fight through a little bit here with the Mystic Shot. It's not super ideal. It's better than just dealing 1 damage. I'm a little surprised that we're seeing the Mystic Shot come through in a Hexbliterator. All right. You've been boomed, bird. You've been boomed. Let's see what we can do. This is one of these spaces to where it would feel a lot better if we were playing the 3 copies of Dad, of Jarvan the 6, given that we can Jarvan the 6, Jarvan the 3, given that, you know, we could just play Jarvan this turn, and then next turn look to get all of the scouts and everything, but Uh-oh. Uh-oh, fam. This isn't gonna feel good. This is open lethal if he doesn't have any interaction, right? We get to just slam the Jarvan right onto the board. Boop. Bring him a little boop, you know? I doubt this ever gets us the kill. They play too many stuns and too many caustic rifts and the like, but it's pretty close. Pretty close. Right? I wonder. I'm curious now that like it was so strange having the Mystic Shot turn, like where we ended up playing our the turn where we ended up playing our +2/+2. I'm curious to the degree that maybe we should have. Just held onto it there, and then on that attack we would have been able to better protect our Jack the Winner. You know, that was a odd Mystic Shot for sure. All right, but just looking to load up Jarvan. It might be a little on the aggressive end of the spectrum, given that we're going to look to do this, right? Where we're just going to hook the Sky Singer out of combat, try and make them have another big removal for Jarvan. But he is also our best attacker, so if we do manage to fight through some of these turns, and he's in the space to where he's not getting stunned, but he is getting blocked, then we're going to need it here. We don't have any other way to return that equipment back to our hand, unless it's like equip one of these smaller dum-dums and then single combat it away, which feels a little bit dangerous. I note coming through. Okay. Not a lot we can do about that. And the Barknuckles.
The answer lies within.
She big. You big, Karma.
Bring peace to Ionia.
None of our single combats are enough to take her down. That is pretty brutal. Well, I shouldn't say they're not enough to take her down. They're not enough to take her down and have our Jarvan survive, which is the kind of big issue here. Everybody's a little bit too small. I think we're probably donezos here. We need to hit either a Jarvan or a champion strength on this upcoming turn. All right, we'll call it there. But yeah, I'm curious how that would have gone. It's like when I put he Mystic Shot our bird, and then I put the spell onto it. I still had that kind of idea in my head of getting all that extra damage in, but it probably wasn't really worth it at that point, and so. It's if it was something that was going to kill our bird, then maybe it would have been a little bit more impressive, but probably should have saved it at that point. All right, everybody's playing a little bit of the Karma set today. Get ready for it, I guess. I don't know. I guess they're having fun. It's at least doesn't feel as obnoxious as having to play against Seraphine. Like the Seraphine deck was just so obnoxious to me in the sense that all of the card generation just felt stupid. Like I don't know if I really have a better way to put it, but it felt stupid. I think that's right on point with how those games went. And so. All right, dude coming in, sure thing. We'll add in the Grumble Slug next turn. Get a little bit of Barknuckles happening. Not a terrible spot to be in. Extra dude, look at that. He says, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm going to put the Knuckles on... Well, I guess if we start to think of the stat lines that the opposing deck plays, like they only play 3 units, right? They play this elusive thing. They play the 3/3 that generates a coin, and then they play the 3/4 that makes coins. And so, with that in mind, we should probably just load up the Grumble Slug, right? These aren't real combat heavy units, and I'm fine to trade with a concussive palm, but I don't think we're stacking too hard when we put the item onto the slug. Sure. You fought hard, bird. You fought hard. Now, this is probably the space where people would start to say, "Wouldn't you like to have Angel?" Wouldn't you like to be attacking with a 6/5 Brash in this spot? And like, now that they add the mixologist, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm even impressed in that sense. Let's get more stuff on the board. They're not going to punish us with anything. So what I'm kind of envisioning here is we should be getting 3 coins out of this combat, right? I don't really need to use all the coins, but we should be able to play the Barknuckles, equip something, and then, sure, play the fish fight after combat. Kind of regretting putting the combat reel onto our castaway. It feels like our mistake of the game. We probably should have just put the quick attack on it so that it would be surviving these attacks. I was kind of having in mind we're going to need to generate some of this extra mana so we could play all of our cards and get Jarvan on the board, but feels like that was a little sloppy. I'll just go ahead and equip the Jack, get him out of Mystic Shot range. See what we could do on this turn. Poor Jack. I'm just going to pass. I wonder if he ever adds set here. Yeah, there's the set. Now we can fish fight. He only has 1 mana. The fish fight off of Jack should be safe. And then we still have the mana to re-equip him and get him back up to 3 health. I guess we do. I forget about the coin. That's a problem. If he coins into high note or something, then we're really going to suffer. Well, I guess that's the way we need this to go, right? Jack was the only one that was big enough to kill off the opposing unit. That makes sense. And this is one of these spots where I should be feeling, ultra confident. We're about to blast in for all this damage. Jarvan's going to hit the accountant, but it just doesn't feel like enough. I wish we had like a way to spend just a little bit more mana and get Jack to flip. But I just envision what's going to happen here is we're going to get hit by a stun. And then we're not actually dealing any damage this turn. And so I don't want Jarvan to be hooking into this dum-dum. So we can do the single combat. We can follow up with the coin. And then have Jarvan come down and attack. And so if he adds like Karma or something or another unit, it's kind of whatever. But gave us a chance to where we weren't
This should be fun.
just getting shut down by a single stun. Get that big. Nine mana into Jarvan, or 9 mana into Set. Who the fuck are you, my dude? 9 mana into Jack. Needs 3 more. We're not gonna find it. If we had a fish fight, we could do some weird stuff with bouncing equipments around, but we just don't have it. All these coins got to stack up as the same card. Painful, painful. But we did get him to 3, so the entirety of our board represents lethal if we're able to get those guys in for an attack. Now we pick up champion strength. So if he plays something big, I don't think they play anything that costs more than deny mana, but fucking see. Here it comes. I guess he has a ton of mana anyways with the coin. It's still hard for me to wrap my head around this thing being here. I haven't got to play enough of these matches yet. It's like you queue into the tournaments and you just play against Samira over and over and over again. So it's been a bit of an eye-opener to me seeing Set Karma pop off here so much today. All right, doing a little card draw thing, trying to find a deny. So again, this is at least one of these spots to where, it's not unreasonable to think he can't find a deny or a way out of this champion strength, but he should be, spending all of his mana and not finding himself in a spot to where he can just super pop off next turn. So, feel pretty good about this. It feels like he's just missed it. If you have the deny in your hand, you're just going to snap it off, right? You just fucking lose to champion strength. So, marinate on that one for a little bit. And there it is. GG. On to the next one. Yeah, it's interesting. I played in two gauntlets yesterday, both of them with Aatrox Vayne. And it was weird. Like, I don't know if they do any MMR-based matchmaking in the Gauntlet, but both of my accounts were at, like, a similar place last season in terms of, Jesus, playing against Jesus, playing the set deck again. But, but no, there was I can't tell if there was like an MMR thing or I was just trying to queue at a bad time, but I played the same guy 4 times in a row. And I felt kind of bad in the sense that, we just kept queuing into each other over and over and over again. It was fine for me. I was happy to get in a lot of games against Samira Fizz. I really wanted to get a feel for that matchup because it's so important. And as we're starting to find ourselves in a space of playing best of threes, I wanted to know if that was a deck I really had to ban, because I don't really want to be having to ban that thing. And it just felt so bad because in the first game I made a misplay and ended up losing because of it, and then I just smashed him 3 games in a row after that, and I was like, oh well. welcome to the Gauntlet. I hope you're having fun out here with your friend Bust, because you just got boomed pretty hard. But at any rate, into the battles here. Jesus hitting us hard with the Hextech Acorns, but we got hopefully some challengers to take these down in the near future. Looking to get Jack on board now. Still leaves us with this 2 mana behind to either fish fight or form up, and I feel like we should be able to take down the little acorns, and then I assume he just blocks with Pit Professional. We'll see. But it gets us lined up nicely for a Jarvan open on the next turn, since this is ideally going to be 3 combats that we get struck back in and don't die. Just have our Jarvan ready to flip as soon as he comes down. He recalls Jack. Okay. So do we want to get Jack in? Like, we're 100% just going to open with Jarvan next turn, right? We're going to open attack, Jarvan's going to come in. Do we want to play Jack? I don't think so. I think we want to get the Elkin, the Castaway, then we want to fish fight away the Clockling. Interesting, interesting. This is another place that gets us in that spot to where we can open attack and have Jarvan just deal the damage. It's like I kind of want him to flip so we can do the cataclysms, but I also want to be dealing the damage. Let's give it a shot. So now we can cast away, pick up something, probably just the Shepherd's Authority. This isn't a matchup to where we're particularly worried about blocking. So Shepherd's Authority should be good here. We can now fish fight onto this dum-dum. The board's completely clear. Now we can open and get Jarvan in. Caustic Rift isn't too painful next turn. Okay. Well, we can still at least hook the Clockling out of combat and punch in for 6 with Jarvan. So with this, we want the attack over to the left. So well, he's not going to survive, but the idea was if our Broadwing was going to survive, we need that one more tick up for our Jarvan. That would get him flippable, but a little too small. Alright, Karma comes in. I assume he's just digging for rando spells. Got quite the board happening out here. So next turn we're going to look to play the Castaway and see if we can't find the Scout equipment, or if we just draw the Scout unit, we'll play it. Ooh, Jarvan. Use you next turn. No Scouts. Sad day. Had to see if we could lethal off of the Fish Whack. Looks like it's going to be a little bit short. That's bold. Why would you do this? He has a coin, so he could potentially kill Jarvan. I think I'm okay with this. Like, I'm intending on just playing Dad next turn, but if he drops his coin for a Mystic Shot to kill Jarvan, then we could just like play Jack and then next turn open and have the other Jarvan come down. Right, so there's a Mystic Shot or something, a high note, whatever. I give it a whatever. That's how I feel about your spells. An Aftershock onto Jack. Interesting. Where's this coming from? Confused as to why that would be a thing. I think we still want to just give everybody Scout, though.
My king, victory is near. Then lead our soldiers to it, my son.
Lead our soldiers to it, my son. How bad could this be, right? Caustic Rift, that's manageable. I mean, we got so much time. Let's not give up on this turn. So how bad is it if... I don't think we want to load up on to the Dad. I don't want him to say, like, hook Karma and then just get stunned. I'm looking to send a 5 damage attack in with these two and then hook Karma out with the Elkin. So just like this. We at least got a 5 coming in. I mean, 5's lethal. I did the mathematics on it. I did the counting. 5 minus 5. That gets you right to 0. Shouldn't be too tough of a challenge here. You say, oh shit, I'm about to get lethaled. I better play high note so I don't die. I figured it out. I put it together for you in case you couldn't figure it out.
How will they act? How will I respond?
Dad down here getting pissed off. He's taking too long, Jesus. Taking too long. Maybe he dropped his phone in the toilet. It's first one on the day. First toilet drop. Alright. That timer's worn its way all the way down. Say GG, well played. Thanks for partying, Jesus. So I'm gonna take a small break. I gotta see if we give the queue like a 2-minute break, maybe we won't play against Set Karma every time. And then if we do for the rest of the way, we'll see. We're 40 minutes into the video. These games take a little bit longer. I like to get 8 games in, but I also like to keep the games to about an hour, or the videos to about an hour. So we'll see what we queue up into after this. All right, next battle. Let's see what we're up against. See if the onslaught of Karma Set continues. Y'all want to watch me play that deck? No? Good, because I wasn't going to. I thought I would just ask, you know. Why not just ask? I saw this the other day. I thought this was interesting. If you go and check out the Mastery, there was a thing going on Twitter. It's to where you were checking your Mastery and seeing which of the champions got rotated out. The thing I got interested in is I saw Grandpa Roji put up his Mastery page. And I'm pretty sure, like, his bottom right one down here where we had Teemo had the Mastery up to 50,000. And some of them were up over around 100 or so. Just giving you kind of an idea of how much a World's Caliber player is able to get in and play. I'm not trying to say if I got to play to that amount of time, I would be anywhere near as good. But it's interesting to see this kind of space as to how much time gets put into the game with someone of that caliber. But as I was scrolling down here to the bottom, I noticed there was like Set and Rise. These are champions that came out over the previous set that just had no desire to play. So you got like Set and Rise, Soraka we would never play. I was surprised to see Kale down here. I did play a little bit of Kale, but not a ton. Ornn, we played absolutely nothing, but it's just like this murderer's row of just cards I fucking hate. Seraphine, Soraka, Rise, and Set just chilling out down here at the bottom. You even got your Pike and your who's the other one? Who's the other lurker champion? Rek'Sai? Rek'Sai should be down here somewhere as well, although we did play quite a bit of Rek'Sai in Expedition, so I guess she's got to survive her way through. But that's what you're gonna get when you check out this channel. We're not gonna play this stupid Set deck. I was pretty surprised that Karma wasn't down here. Karma's made her way kind of midway through, and so you want to watch that stuff? Go somewhere else. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't sit through one of my videos you don't want to watch. So I don't know. I don't know why you would expect to come here and see that. All right, though, up against what I assume is the Sun Disc, a little bit of a strikier version. I guess it's got Renekton Nasus. I'm not super familiar with what has happened within Shurima. I hear the rumblings of people on the Twitter say that all the landmarks have been rotated out, and so maybe that's why we're not out here seeing much of the Xerath version of these things. But I'm interested to see what opponents about to bring to us here. I'll bring in the attacks. I don't got anything wrong with that. And now we're getting this nice setup to where we'll play the Castaway next turn. He's going to attune us back that mana. And then on our next attack token, we can do the Defector plus the Barknuckles. Get the 2 coins in hand. Very challenging unit to deal with. All right. And so I don't want to get locked into that Set Karma matchup to where we're just never blocking. But I think we're probably never blocking, and so I'm just going to go with with the Shepherd's Authority on this one. See if we can't get ourselves some good combats out here. That's the mindset, right? Never blocking, all aggro, all the time. That's the way it's meant to be done. Nice draw with Champion Strength. Just continues onto the good curve. We got the Combat Cook on 5 for a bank 1 and Champion Strength on turn 6. I dig it. Was Rite of Negation still in the game? Whew. Gotta learn these things at some point, man. Gotta learn at some point. Look at this. These dudes can't even block a Brash unit. You're about to get 10 to the nugget. LOL. Enjoy the Brash, my friend. Enjoy the Brash. Now, with this idea that we're going to Champion Strength 2 turns from now, well, I guess we already got our attack in, so we're not going to be doing it. But I was going to say, do we want to hook the Forsaken Bakai with the Broadwing? And I don't think we do. Like, again, he's not going to be getting good combats here. And we're trying to find ourselves in this spot to where... we're trying to find ourselves into this spot to where we're just going for the Champion Strength next turn. So I'll bring in this fish fight on Renekton, give a bit of protection to our Defector. Now he has to throw away a bigger unit to take it down. That's all okay. Champion Strength, right? We can just take a 5-hit. So we'll skip that block. We get anything else on board, though? How's that go? This will give us 5 mana in total, so we could spend 2? Or we can just give up on the Champion Strength for the turn, which I think I'm also okay with. I had in my head that we were going to get like an extra mana out of this, and it didn't quite pan out. Alright, let's just get the dudes on board. Like, as it stands, he's got to find an answer to this Barknuckle Defector, right? It has to probably just be a champion. And so we'll see. We'll see what he starts adding to the board. Otherwise, this 10 might just be lethal. Throw down the Combat Cook, see if we hit Scout.
I know you've been stealing my plates, Captain. Hey, they patch up the hall real good.
Well, he's not doing anything. He just passed. So I assume he's got something to come in and try and stop this. But we do still have the Broadwing on board, so if he's not going to play a... interesting. If he's not going to play a unit, we could hook whatever he has out of combat. But so if we make this attack, he can get 2 blocks, and we'll end up losing 2 units on the day. I think that just has to be fine. He puts his 2 in front of the Combat Cook, his 1 in front of the Castaway. I don't think they're going to be doing anything just hanging out next turn. Bury me at sea. So what do we got? Are we about to go dad mode on this board? Get Jarvan down, be ready next turn with an open, and then he still has to find the answer to the Night Ranger. And then the Ranger opening into Jarvan lets Jarvan attack the second time. And so it's pretty sweet combos if you ask me. Look at that, he's got his Brash defender. I'm ready to stop your Brash unit with a Zir. That sucks for you, dude. Sucks for you.
We fight till we're ragged, then we fight again. To the flag.
To the flag. I don't remember who triggers me on this every time. It might be Jarvan saying to the flag, but I hear it, and I'm just always reminded of the classic Lil Wayne, not the classic Lil Wayne song, the classic Lil Jon song, where he sings, "To the window, to the wall, I'll let the sweat drip down my balls. All skeet skeet motherfucker. All skeet skeet goddamn. Get low." Get Low is the name of the tune if you want to look that up on your Spotify. Classic work from Lil Jon. So what's this guy doing? He played a spell I've never seen before. Obliterate a follower, draw a card. Okay. Not bad. I think we're still quite set to win this game. All right, that elicits the concession. GG. So, all right, let's get ourselves one more game in. Let's see if we play up against Set or if we get to play against something new and fresh like the Sundisk. Get excited for it. Get ready. Whew. I've about made it over this sickness. This is cold as well. I can still feel it. I can hear it in my voice that it's a little out there. My wife looked at me like I was insane yesterday. And so the way I like to handle sickness is you get to that day to when you're like just about done with it. You know, you certainly feel better than you did on the previous day. You still qualify as sick, you know, but you might go to work or do whatever it is. You don't feel like just a complete mess. And on that day, I like to drink a half-gallon of orange juice, and so that's it. That's my medical advice for the day. You know, on that last day where you're feeling kind of sick but getting better, you drink yourself a half-gallon of orange juice. And, you know, it just helps you replenish your fluids and get you your vitamins and shit. And I stand by it. I think it's something that works. It's medical mastery, medical science, if you will. Just go out there and drink you some OJ. Glad I could help. Don't avoid going to the doctor or some shit, okay? Don't listen to dum-dums on the internet telling you that orange juice is the it's the answer. It's like whenever you're getting sick or something and you just want to put a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub on it. You know, Vicks Vapor Rub fixes everything. Orange juice is probably the same. So this is like, I mean, I guess he's got the +2 attack in hand. We'll just let this go. It's not as big of a deal taking the 2 damage here when he already has the flare in hand. If he's not getting a fresh flare, I think just the 2 damage is whatever. So we'll take it. Look to hit on the way back. I'm gonna make our castaway have enough health to survive this stuff. So if we can at least try and bait the spells out on this attack, or if we can, you know, if he's gonna flare and then have the mana behind, that's kind of whatever. I would prefer to just not be running into quick attackers, though. Jagged Butcher, not the guy I was expecting to see today. I'm gonna bring it. Like I feel like we're trading one of these units for the 1-cost combat trick, right? He's gonna +2/+2 onto something here. But, I mean, we need to be getting some attacks, and I don't feel like we can just sit here and pass. Would be nice if we had the mana to form up, but we'll have to save that for another day. Okay.
Bury me at sea. There's plenty of
Butcher number 2. Interesting.
Neat and quiet.
All the friends. Everybody's coming out to party. Well, you gotta do the work, Steadfast Elkin. you gotta do the work. You're all we got today, my dude. He pirouettes. Let's see how it goes. We'll try and take down Samira, and then after this happens, we're more free to fish fight. So
Follow me.
he goes +2/+2. I feel you. Spending all the mana, my dude. This is going to give us the second coin in hand, so we can then play the coins and play the fish fight. Just go ahead and get it out of here. There is some argument to just say put the Pot of Pain down, since it's going to have all the health, but I don't really want to be taking 1,000,000 damage here. I feel like if this game just drags on a little bit, that we're going to be completely fine when we get Jarvan and Jarvan going. So if we can just slow this down just a little bit, I think this is okay. You see, now that he's just throwing his unit away in front of the Elkin, that's beautiful. So it's like if we draw any dude we can play at this point, it's going to feel so good. He's just so far behind here. Is he playing Misfortune? No, he's playing Fizz. Okay. Okay. Perfect draw. Perfect draw. Oh, he's seen one of these Barknuckles. Let's get that one down. Say I'm ready. Got my 5/5 ready to block a Fizz. Feels good. Have to be so far ahead here, right? See if he concedes after this. sometimes you drop a bit of a whoopsies right into the blocking Badger Bear. I was curious if that's what just transpired. Well, he says, "I'm here to battle, my dude. I'm here to battle. I'm not giving up on that one." Now with Jarvan, I mean, I just don't think we need it. Is he going to be flipped? No. Let's draw another one. So this at least gets us in a spot. If we want to play Jarvan next turn, then we can use him to Cataclysm, and we're going to blast him for like 8 this turn. So I don't feel like we're really missing out on anything. Alright, here comes the squad. He's just going to take it and die. He did. GG. And so, not a bad set of games. We can pull this up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, again, the major changes I took from Lucia's deck into coming over to this one, I cut all of the copies of Angel, and then I cut one copy of Jarvan the Third, and then I used that to put in the 3 copies of Grumble Slug, the 2 copies of Champion Strength. I'll also cut out 1 copy of Form Up. And I feel like that, it does push away from that idea of these big brash draws to where you play a unit, you put the Barknuckles on it, you play Jack, you play the Angel, you attack, your opponent can't block anything because their units are all shitty, and you're having a good time. But I feel like you have a lot of draws to where that just doesn't pan out. And the Brash just isn't as important. And so I really like this idea of adding Grumble Slug. It makes a lot of these curves just play out much more naturally. And then the Champion Strength is here to help us crush through the games where we develop this big board. I don't think it's too unreasonable to think we can develop these big boards since we have this kind of early game challenger package and the good equipments and stuff. And all of the opposing removals tend to be like Mystic Shot kind of cards and not that great at clearing out our board. And so I think that gives us a fairly interesting space here. But, a good set of battles. I think the only thing I have left to kind of consider with this is if, like, the set Karma deck, it's not going to be a 20%er of the meta. Like, I feel like Fizz Samira is starting to wane itself down. We've been in this spot to where, it's not entirely fair to call Fizz Samira an aggro deck, but it's kind of like an aggro combo deck, if you will. And I think that that's a kind of safe bucket to put it in. And now that deck is kind of like wearing away, people have figured out what removal you need to play to beat that. You have to be playing like heavy metals and stuff if you want to take that Samira down. The meta starts to slow down a bit, and then you can start to fit in these kind of Karma decks. And Karma isn't going to take up that full 20% of the meta, and so it's only going to be like a 10%er at best. Where this thing is going is I'm trying to decide, like, would I be willing to slow this deck down a little bit to be better against the Karma deck? And maybe. Like, I could definitely see an argument for, say, cutting the Combat Cooks, going up to 3 Defectors and 3 King Jarvans, but maybe that's a little bit too much. It feels like a lot of the space there is trying to just combat their stuns, and I don't want to be going taller against stuns deck. I want to be going wider, and so I'm not entirely certain what's correct there. The other thing I've been like mildly interested in this format's just Stony Suppressor, as the Samira deck is so tied into casting a bunch of spells, and the Karma deck is so tied into casting a bunch of spells. There's no really good way to remove it except for Aftershock, since it has 3 health. I could definitely see it fitting in. But the problem that I've historically had with Stony Suppressor is you need a card to make it bigger, and so you can't just put a 1/3 landmark onto the board that never does anything. You need to have ways to make it grow, and in the past you could play with Poppy, you could play with not Legion Rearguard. You could play the Demacia Allegiance Vanguard Bannerman, right? You had ways to make it a 2/4 or a 3/5 over the course of the game, and now with the only way being Inspired Light, it's not nearly as appealing. But this is a meta that strikes me as one that would be good for Stony Suppressor. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with our first battles with Jack. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Bust and me. Thank you for being here.